animation of the Mary Rose sinking. When we first walked through this part, they were just setting off with the cannons, but now it's sinking. There were more than 500 men on board when the Mary Rose sank. And they had this kind of netting, which means you can crawl across it like above the gun deck. See, here there would have been netting, so like, say you could go across it, and there's like all the guns under here. Although the problem is, it trapped lots of people under there when the Mary Rose sank. And it is this part here that remains today. So this is some anti-board netting. Now that's what is featured here, and its main purpose was to stop the enemy from getting onto the ship. But if it's hard for the enemy to get in, that must mean that it's hard to get out. So when it sank, lots of people just trapped inside. All trapped inside. And that's what it's showing there. So this here is one of the cannons, the Mary Rose. It's all very decorated with the Tudor rose and the fleur-de-lis. It's got the crest on there.
Why would it have the fleur-de-lis and the Tudor rose?
Well, because it descends from the French. That's why. Oh, it's because, it says here, because Henry called himself King of France as well. But in the animation it was like he called himself King of France, but he says, I'm King of France, but I need to do a battle so that the French know that I'm the King of France.
Yeah, because he couldn't be in two places at once, could he? So he had to amass his fleet. There's Southsea castle up there.
Yep. It looks tiny on that, but it's actually massive.
Okay, that's supposed to be the Mary Rose sinking in the middle, isn't it? Look.
Yeah, because that's the big one, and it's a flagship. I'm guessing that's the French there coming in,
yep.
And then that's the English going out. So this is what remains of the Mary Rose. As you can see, there's scaffolding in there, because otherwise the whole thing would just fall apart. When you take out something that's been in the sea for 500 years, it's probably rotting. And down.
Spraying it like that.
Yeah.
Well over a decade, I think. It's spraying it with water to sort of gradually, keep it.
Yeah.
Basically treating it so it wouldn't then fall to bits.
As you can see there, the wood's bending. And then there is the rudder.
The other thing you notice in this museum, because the Mary Rose, it wasn't flat like that, it was shaped like that. So when you walk, you go down, it's like it's on the main deck.
So the floors are shaped like the boat decks.
So everything you see in these displays here were found on this deck.
Yeah.
So even though you've got cannons and cannons...
Well, look, those are like the cannon holes, because directly parallel to us is a cannon hole.
Yeah, and these are their own personal items. So look, somebody's shaving knife there, and his hair comb.
Yeah. But this entire museum is designed so that this is just like walking inside the boat. The actual boat may be over there, but things like in here.
That's the carpenter over there.
Yeah.
This is cabin here.
Yeah. So everything's parallel to each other.
And it's his dog that they've got here as a skeleton. It's his dog was on ship.
Yeah. However, the dog's like somewhere over there. But you can just see all cans. Yeah.
Can't really see it here, mate, but it was saying that some of his tools are Spain because that's how they know that. They're like, oh, maybe he just had some Spanish tools. But that when they done his DNA, and that, they found out, like our DNA, they found out he came from Spain.
But like, they definitely probably lifted the cannons first and then the ship, because the weight of the cannons, it would just go like.
Oh yeah, yeah. But they're different types of cannons as well, aren't they? Look, they're not all the same.
Yeah, like that is different to that one. Because when it's 500 years ago, I know these two are probably purposely made different.
So the ship sank when?
Like 1540s?
Something like that. So 1540s, and it took several years to build it anyway. How old is this tree? This tree's probably come from 1,000 years ago. Yeah, that was made into that, isn't it? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because what Dad keeps on saying is that, say, how old was the wood used? Like 500 years ago? But then, how old is the tree that the wood came from?
Yeah, because the tree's
Probably
got
about
to grow.
200 years.
The tree's got to be 200-300 years growing
Hence, like,
before
the
they
wood,
chop it down.
Yeah.
To then make this. So if this was made, say 1500,
Yeah.
the trees are 300 years old at least, aren't they? And the planks are wood.
Yeah. Look at all that rope up there. Look how high we are now, above. Oh yeah, and this part is separate because this part is supposed to be all the way at the very front. You can just see how massive a ship is, because when there's wooden things around the Tudor times, you don't really get to see them that often. And unlike HMS Warrior and HMS Victory, you can't even walk on this one, because this one's just so old that if you even take a step on it, it will probably just collapse under you. Because back in the time, it was able to hold 500 people, but now it would be barely enough to hold one person. Look, here are the remains. See, that's that loose bit down there. And that's the rudder there.
So we're talking about this earlier, weren't we?
Yeah, the figurehead.
The figurehead.
The Tudor rose.
This is it. Look, that's it.
Yeah.
And top truth fact.
Did you know the first new artefact?
No, aircraft.
No, the first new aircraft carriers is called HMS Queen Elizabeth. Her badge is also a Tudor rose.
How cool is that?
Cool. So, like, probably one of the most modern aircraft carriers, and one of the most oldest ships still standing. Now, here's the skeleton of the carpenter's dog. It's quite a small dog. What breed of dog is it? Healthy young male.
Cross between a modern breed of a terrier and a whippet.
What's a whippet?
A whippet's a bit, you know, like a greyhound.
Yeah.
A whippet's a smaller version of one of those, a smaller dog, but it's like that. So it looks quite skinny, good for running, chasing.
Yeah.
So whose stuff is this? This is the master gunner stuff.
Yeah.
He's obviously quite wealthy. He's got a nice box, isn't he?
Oh, he's the master gunner. Look, there are some coins.
Yeah.
Look how tiny those dice are. That is some tiny dice.
They are dice, aren't they?
That is Dungeons and Dragons if you're a Lego minifigure.
So good?
That's Dungeons and Dragons if you're a Lego minifigure. From when we've been mudlarking, these are some clay pipes here, and that looks like a shattered cannonball. These clay pipes are actually quite big for the time. Oh, these are layers of history, so this is 19th century, 18th century. That's why they're big, or else they'd be tiny. Why is everything so tiny? The dominoes now.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of space, did you?
I know, but the dice, they're like that big. They're the size of a lentil bean, and the dominoes, they're the size of a peanut. The archers' possessions. Oh, these are all the people's skeletons.
A face that is clearly masculine, and he looks confident. Guy with a skull filled
So
with
look, this is showing you different bones, different diseases. So how bones have gone and his hips grown because he's had an accident with his hip. Scurvy, look at that bone there. It should look like white, but it doesn't because he's lacking in vitamin C.
Yeah.
And then you've got things like a fracture where the bone's broken and regrown.
Yeah.
Tooth loss, look.
Arthritic elbow. Mary Rose archers, so that's what from the DNA test what I think the archers should look like.
Look, this guy here, that's what I talked about on the telly. So his leather
Yeah.
wrist bit had the Tudor rose, and it also had pomegranate. And pomegranate was something to do, I think, with France, with the Queen. So they found out he actually wasn't English. He was, sort of Mediterranean.
But like, that's his skeleton. That's what they predict he looks like.
Wrong colour. They were saying that obviously he was Mediterranean, weren't they? Or that particular archer had that wristband. They were saying the whole crew had different colours.
He's got quite a big nose.
Yeah.
Like a Caesar nose.
Like a Caesar nose.
So here we have what looks like the anchor and the mast. There's the front of the hull.
Right, so obviously...
It's amazing how they had like all the bricks on the boat.
Yeah, for the galley.
Yeah, for the kitchen. They've got lots of pots. These look like barrels.
Yeah,
The soles of shoes. Lots of things. I like how, like, with the plastic things, like, they've sort of, like, finished off.
Showed you where the handles are. Oh, what are these then?
These are arrows.
Arrows and the bows. And the bows would have been made out of yew, wouldn't they? English yew.
Yeah.
What's
So-
it called?
Taxus baccata
Taxus
in Latin. So at the moment we are in an airlock. See that door there? It's like an airlock because in there it was all interactive, but now we're in here. There's actually no window here, so I can put my hand out there. And we are actually in the same room as the Mary Rose now. Down there you can see the rudder as well. And the anchor's down there. This looks really cool. This is open air part. Not to the outside world, but it's just that we can now actually see the Mary Rose without windows in between there. Thanks for watching.